Well, good morning. This is yet another exciting episode of I'm going to go edit something. This is simply to put in my own discipline and to also allow you to join me if you'd like, no blah blah, and put in your own discipline on editing. Or you can pretend you're just sitting there looking over my shoulder while I edit. If it's of benefit to you, great. If it's boring, okay. You don't have to come. You don't have to watch. I'm not going to be paying attention to the comments a whole lot, except when I'm done or when I take a break. If I do take a break, you're going to see something like this up here on the screen. That's actually what this video is about. It was how to create a little timer within OBS. Now you can get into all sorts of crazy countdown timer things. In fact, I use this one created by Nay at Interactive DNA. Okay, and that's a lot of stuff there. So again, I'm not going to pay attention to the comments. The only reason we're here is just to hang out and edit. I would usually schedule these at 9 a.m. I think from now on Thursday. I don't give anybody a notice or anything. So that's what I'm going to be editing, is how to create that timer or something like it within OBS. You can make it full screen. That could be your countdown timer. You don't need any plugins. You don't need anything special in OBS. That's the video I made for this Saturday morning. And now I'm going to go edit, have my coffee, possibly take breaks. I don't think this will take long. Let's start editing. All right. Now, just as a reference, if you haven't seen my other video on how I do YouTube episodes, I have that all laid out. I copy the last project. It gives me my adjustment layer. I have my intro. I have my little lower third. I have my subscribe button. I have that in case I need it. My ending, comment, like, and subscribe. A little beep where I put outtakes if there's any. And then my entire outro done by Interactive DNA. Now, what's particular to this video is I made how to do this little timer in OBS. Even if all you have is OBS, and you aren't using it for cameras and everything else, it's a great screen recorder. It's free. You can hook up a mic and everything else. Well, that's what I did with this. I'm going to drag it to the end so I don't obliterate this stuff. And I have my audio. I have all that stuff. And I'm showing how to create this in OBS while recording it from OBS. So let's start editing, and I'll quit blawing. See if anybody happened to come in here. Not that I see. Okay, here we go. You can watch it live later. Okay, let's find this intro here. It's interesting. My keyboard commands aren't currently working, and I think because I have something else up and running. Let me verify that. Shut that down, and we'll shut that down. Let's see if that's true. Nope. Okay, we're going to go old school. Cool. Cut. And we're going to delete. I use a second keyboard instead of my laptop. And the reason why I do that is so I don't have to sit here camped over my laptop. And welcome to... Didn't turn the second keyboard on. Let's try that again. Yep, there we go. This is the intro. Let me show you a quick way to create a countdown timer that looks pretty snazzy. Let me show you a quick way to create a countdown timer that looks pretty snazzy in OBS like that. Before I continue and before I forget, all this was done in OBS, so I have the video track, which you're seeing up here in the audio track. Before I forget, I need to go make sure I round trip this in Audition. And Audition's opened up over here. I'm fine with it. There's some spikes in here. I'm not worried about it. Scene, and I'm going to call this text since it's a text element. And it's a little plosive. I'm okay with it. I don't need to mess with this. I don't need to compress it. I already have it all done because I did it in OBS and I have it set up. So all I'm going to do is just match loudness, 16 minus LUFS, let her roll, and we're done. And there we go. Move them, and there is no undo in OBS. Save it, and I'm gone. Hey, Andre. Welcome, sir. So now I've normalized my sound and round-tripped it, and it has updated here. Let's zoom in on this. Make sure I cut a little more of this. That's interesting. We want to make sure, yep, they're linked. Let's get this off. Boom. Let me show you a quick way to create a countdown timer that looks pretty snazzy in OBS like that. Cut that. I start here. It's going to be very fast. I don't have a lot to do in here. It's just a straight tutorial right out of OBS. Let's cut that. Go to the beginning. Let's lock this down. I might do a little color correction in here just for fun. Control-Shift-V. Insert that. 2, 3, 15 frames in. Give time for YouTube to load up. Throw my this in here. Like that. There's going to be no music on this because there's a tutorial. Let's keep rough cutting. Not going to be much again. This is just a quick little video I'm going to throw together to show you how to create a quick little timer within OBS. You don't need plugins, you don't need to buy extra stuff or anything else. You just are able to turn it on, you're able to set the time, and you're done. Let's go over to OBS and create this thing. Okay, before I move my head down. Ripple delete that. Now here I am in OBS. I don't have anything set up, and if you're wondering why my OBS looks awesome, well, you'll see that in my new OBS course and how you do that. But that's not the purpose of this video. So what I want to do is I want to create that timer in here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a scene, and I'm going to call this text since it's a text element, and this is going to be our countdown timer. Boom. Yeah, I'll probably cut that out. And I'm going to call this text since it's a text element, and this is going to be our countdown timer. Boom. Now what I usually do over here is I create my cameras and my scenes and everything else, and later on I switch between that and everything else. I don't want to go into that right now, and oh, by the way, yes, I am recording all of this in OBS, doing this right now. All of this in OBS, doing this right now. Okay, so we've got our little text countdown timer, and this is going to be a scene that we're going to create in here that's contained in this. So the first thing I want to do is I want to create some text. Now we're going to call this typo boy. And we're going to call this, let's call it break text. Break text. Well, good typing, eh? Break text. And we're just going to come in. Let's call it wow. Computer's funky. I think I have other things running that are capturing all my key commands. Shift delete. Boop. Not working. That's interesting. Okay, whatever. Don't care. We'll do it this way. Call this, let's call it break text. Good typing, eh? Well, break text. Good typing, eh? Come in here. We're going to say. We're just going to come in here. We're going to say, right? I get it. This you will not have happen to you. That's something peculiar to my system. Boom. No. Alt drag. Boom. That's where that stuff's coming from. Timer. Boom. There we go. Now what I usually do over here is I create my cameras and my scenes. And I'm going to call this text since it's a text element. And this is going to be our countdown timer. I'm going to call this text since it's a text element. And this is going to be our, let's do it that way. Hey, look at that working. And I'm going to call this countdown timer. Boom. Now what I usually do over here is I create my cameras and my scenes and everything else, and later on I switch between that and everything else. I don't want to go into that right now, and oh, by the way, yes, I am recording all of this in OBS, doing this right now. Okay, so we've got our little bit of blah blah, I can cut it out. Doing this right now. So we've got our little text countdown timer, and this is going to be a scene that we're going to create in here that's contained in this. So the first thing I want to do is I want to create some text. Now we're going to call this, let's call it, well, good typing, eh? Break text. And we're just going to, well, good typing, eh? Call this, let's call it break text. And we're just going to come in here. We're going to say, be right back. We're just going to use Arial. We're just going to use this font 256. I always suggest using these large fonts and then scaling them back down. We can do all sorts of things to this. I'll show you that in a minute. Let's not worry about it. Be right back. Okay. Now let's take this thing and puff this thing right down here. Now the next thing we're going to do is a little lip smack. That's going bye-bye. Boop. Right down here. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create another text element. Text element here. And we're just going to call it element here. And we're text element. And we're just going to call it the counter. That's what's going to have the counter up there. Okay, fine, same font, 256, cool. Cool. We're just going to leave it at Arial for right now, and we'll play with this later. So up there is the text. Made a mistake. Same font, 256, cool. We're just going to leave it at Arial for right now, and we'll play with this. That goes away. So up there is the text. our end message, which is, so what we're going to do, we're going to use the same font. That goes away. Element. And we're just going to call it the counter. That's what's going to have the counter up there. Okay, fine, same font, 256, cool. So what we're going to do, we're going to use the same font. Goes away. Counter up there. So what we're going to do, we're going to use the same font, Arial. We're just going to set it to our end message, which is done. You'll see what I'm doing in a minute. So let's come over here. Let's go over here and put our done in here. Make it about the same size-ish. And we'll stick that over here. Now, it's always a good thing when you're working in here. Let's move this over a little bit. When you're working in OBS and you're doing this, is once you're done, you have things set where you want them. Set where you want them. Lock them down, because otherwise you'll accidentally move them. And there is no undo in OBS, unfortunately. Okay, now let's create OBS, unfortunately. Now let's create our counter. This is built in. If you go to Tools, Scripts, Loaded Scripts, we have none, and you look for, it should open up to here for your scripts that are included, you're going to see Countdown, and that's a script. Open that up, click on it, and we're going to say, yeah, let's just do a minute for right now so we can see what's happening. And the source of our text is going to be counter. Look at that. And final text is going to be done. So our text is running, our countdown timer is running, and that's all copacetic and awesome. How about that? Now when you turn on the counter, it will reset and start counting down again. Now we're just going to take and create a new scene here. Let's say I have a, let's see, main camera scene. And, you know, you can go in here. You can create, well, let's just create something here. We're going to create a color source. A color source. That's just... Welcome to editing and distractions. Turn your phone off, turn your buzzes off, turn that stuff off. This is why I do this, because stuff happens like this. Turn this down. Okay. Make sure, check the comments just for a minuto minute, which, okay, that's an interruption, whatever. And the reason I'm doing that is to make sure while I'm doing this live stream, something isn't terrible and something bad isn't happening. Because that would not be cool at all. Let's go here. Let me grab the, I should have set this up before. Just check out the comments here, just in case somebody's saying, we can't hear you. Your mic is off. Life is happening. Things are terrible. Let's connect this. Okay. Let's make sure we're going here. All right. Hello, Andre. Good morning, Jake. Just an editing session. Hello. Good talk with each other. Do whatever you're going to do. You didn't miss anything, Bad Karma. Free drinks, apparently. Hey, dude. More talking. Cool. Time to get ready for work. Cool. Check your channel. Weird. Well, that answer is lol, etc. Cool. I just want to check the comments, make sure everything's cool. So I'm going to go back to editing. You can join me in your editing, or join me next week and have your stuff prepared, or watch over my shoulder as I mumble to myself. That may be value to you. It may not, but it gets me to edit my Saturday morning video. If you don't know what's going on, rewind to the beginning of the video and all shall be explained. Back to editing. Boop. All right. So, create a color source. That's just a background like that. And let's set it to white. Just doing that so you can see what I'm doing over in the other thing. And in the main camera, what we're going to do is we're going to add a scene from over here, and that's going to be the text countdown timer. Okay. So now we have the text countdown timer on there. You can't really see it. Let's change that color source to something else. Obnoxious, like blue. Done that a few times. Like blue. Okay. Now we have our countdown timer on. Let's lock down our color source. Now we can do that. Or let's say I have a camera with me on here and we're doing something and I want to throw this thing up over here. That'd work. That'd work. Up over here. So here's what we do. Over here. And I'm just putting this here just so you can see what's going on. I'm going to lock that down for now. So the beauty of this, throw this thing up over here. So the beauty of this is if I have a main camera, a second camera, a third camera, a second screen, etc., etc., all I have to do is add this countdown timer to that. Let's do another one. Let's say we create second camera. Maybe that's an overhead or camera or something over here. What we're going to do is we're going to add our scene camera or something over here. What we're going to do is we're going to add our scene. We're going to add maybe camera or something over here. We're going to add our, it's a little choppy. Let's add a little dissolve between the two audio sources. Thing over here. We're going to add our scene from over here. We're going to add this countdown timer. Cool. And yeah, let's add in. Yeah, let's add in countdown timer. Cool. And countdown timer. Yeah, let's add in. We're just going to copy this color source from here. Doot, 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 doot. And let's just throw that in here. Boom. Make sure that this is below it so we can see it. Now the beauty of this is, let's go back and scale this and skin this. We'll lock these down. Boop. Reset. Let's skin this so it looks a little bit better. Now, we don't have to go in here and change it, and then go in here and change it. And this is why you set this up like this. Let's go to countdown timer, and let's add an awful background color to this thing. We'll do a color source. Just because I want to see what I'm doing, I'm going to turn this off later, and we're just going to call it background. Don't use. How about that? And we'll just set it to something really, really awful, like, oh, I want to do something awful. No, that's not awful. Yeah, pink. Some people may like that, and that's cool. Okay. Wow. Yeah, pink. Some people may like that, and that's cool. Yeah, pink. Yeah, pink. Okay, there's our pink. A pink. Okay, there's our pink. Let's move it down below all this. Now we can see our Move it down below all this. Now we can see our counter. Let's do some cool stuff to this. Let's reset the counter. Actually, I'll leave it and see if it's done. Let's take this text where it says "be right back," which is the break text. We don't need to do that. That's for moving. Let's come down here. Let's add a gradient, for instance, and let's select, for instance, let's select a cool font for here. Let's select a cool font. I want to use a different font. Let's use text. We don't need to do that. That's for moving. Let's come down here. Break text. We don't need to do that. That's for moving. Let's select a need to do that. That's for moving. A cool font for here. Let's select a cool font. Font for here. Let's select a text. We don't need to do that. That's for moving. Select a cool font. A cool font for here. Let's no way. We don't need to do that. That's for moving. A cool font for here. Let's select a cool font. I want to use a different font. Let's use Arial black. Yeah. And let's put a gradient on this thing like that, and we'll select the color to be, I don't know, maybe yellow, like that. Let's see what happens. Oh, there you go. Be right back. That's kind of cool. Okay, let's do that. We'll keep this yellow and we'll okay. Now we got be right back on the pink, which looks terrible. Let's also take our counter and let's do the same thing. Let's change this font. See that? Done. Let's change this font also to Arial Black. Arial Black, big, whatever. We'll click it to done. We'll also change, don't mess with that text. We'll also change that gradient. And we'll select the color, and we'll also use that cool, awful, whatever looking done. Now we have a gradient sitting back here. Be right back. Let's reset the counter. Boop. There it goes. All fits. Now what I want to do is I want to be able to place this on the screen in like a little rectangular thing that sits up there. So what I'm going to do is this time I'm going to create a color source, and this is the one we're going to use. Let's call this black, 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 background. Let's call this black background. Cool. And we want to select the color, whatever that is. It looks like black to me. Cool. Black to me. Cool. Black to me. We're going to take this guy. We're going to move this guy down below. Now we're on black. Now what we want to do is black to me. We're going to take this guy. We're going to move this guy down below. Now we're on black. Now what we want to do is we want to be able to collapse this thing. And it's all set up like that. Not going to work. Again, we don't have undo in here, but we do have the ability to reset or fit this thing. Ability to reset or fit this thing to the set to reset or fit this thing to the screen to reset. That's why I lock these, because you can really mess them up. Now what we want to do is we want to take this black background. We just want it sitting in a little dealy whopper there. Now we can go here to transform, and we can edit this transform. This is one way to do it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. ability to reset or fit this thing to the screen to reset. That's why I lock these, because you can really mess them up. Rewind to the beginning, bad karma. That's why I lock these, because you can really mess them up. Now what we want to do is we want to take this black background. We just want it sitting in a little dealy whopper there. Now we can go here to transform, and we can blah 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 blah. Don't care. Yada 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 yada. Don't care. Yada 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 yada. Don't care. Oops, there it is. What? Again, this is, I know you're like, what is going on here? Get quite confusing, so I don't. Crop pad, and this gives me the control I want. The top, let's do this by 200. Okay. It's a better way to do that, but okay. That's why I lock these, because you can really mess them up. Now what we want to do is we want to take this black background. We just want it sitting in a little dealy whopper there. Now we can go here to transform, and we can. You want to do the vertical. Okay, let's try 300. What I do is I right click. Bye-bye everything. Boop. That's why I lock these, because you can really mess them up. What I do is I right click, I add a filter, I click here, and I add crop pad, and this gives me the control I want. The top, let's do this by 200, maybe more, 400. Let's do the bottom, maybe 200. Let's do 400. Maybe we'll set this to 450. Maybe we'll set this to 450. That should be about right. Let's do the left 50. I'll do 100. 100 there. Let's do over here 100. I'm probably okay with that. Let's close this. We're going to drag this down here. And now we have our Be Right Back done. Let's make sure the counter fits. We'll move this a little bit over here. Now if we want to be really particular about it, we can come up here and transform and center horizontally. Boop. Can also take our break text and play with this. Let's lock that down. Let's lock that down. You know, unlock these. Maybe we take this dude, play with it right there. And maybe we take this dude, play with it right there. Okay, now we have our element. Now the reason why I did that is because I want to not have black. You could use this as is right now, not have black sitting here. I wanted to put some opacity on this. So I go to the black background. Again, I go to the black background. Right now, not have black sitting here. I wanted to put some opacity on this. I go to the black background, and again, I'm going to use a filter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, believe it or not, use the color correction. Easy squeezy. Now what I do over here is I'm just going to move the opacity. See what's happening there? Like that. Let's do the opacity at 70. Now it's see-through. Now when it's sitting there on the screen and it's playing, I'm going to be able to see through. Like if it's on my screen, it's on where I'm sitting, as you saw in the last one. Be right back. I can go through and do all sorts of stuff. I can outline this. I can do everything else. But we have everything done. Now, the main point of this is now that I've edited all these, you'll notice in my main camera, let's go back here and turn off this dude. Boop. You notice in my main camera, it's a bit see-through right there. Here's my second camera. It's a bit see-through right there. Let's change the color source to something else like, oh, I don't know. Let's say we go with white. You'll see it see-through there, and you'll see it see-through there. That's how you make this timer. Now that I have everything here contained in here, any change I make in here will affect both. But I can go through and I can unlock my little text counter. It's one big element sitting in there. I'm not clicking on individual things, and I can go, okay, you know what I want to do? I want to stick this guy right up here like that on this particular screen. Let's lock that down. And when you turn it on, let's lock that down. And when you turn it on, it plays. But on the second camera, what I want to do, maybe there's a secondary screen or something like that. Let me unlock my text counter, grab this, and this guy, I'm actually going to put down at the middle of my screen right here. I want to sit right here. Okay? So, lock that back up, turn that off. So, when I'm on my main camera, and I want to take a minute break, boom. I'll be right back in 1 minute. It'll count down and it'll say done. When I'm on my second camera or my second screen, I go, I'll be right back. Boom, done. It's sitting down there. Now, you may be saying to yourself, or you may not, how do I control this? Go back up to your script that you just added and say, you know what? I want to take it to say 5 minutes. Close it. We're now at 5 minutes. We go over to here, turn that on. We're now at 5 minutes. Turn that on. We're now at 5 minutes. And you can get all... Chuck. I'll actually use that. Whenever I do these, I cut these and add them at the very end someplace for potential outtakes. Turn that on. We're now at 5 minutes. And you can get fancy-dancy with this and do all sorts of stuff. Like you can see up here in the corner that I have this timer going. Distractions, man. And you can get fancy-dancy with this and do all sorts of stuff. Like you can see up here in the corner that I have this timer going. It counts down, taking a break. I do this when I'm doing live editing sessions. Let me show you this one. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to open, possibly I'm doing some sort of a tutorial. Let's open up. That's not going to work. That I have this timer going. It counts down, taking a break. I do this when I'm doing live editing sessions. Let me show you this one. I'm going to come. That's awesome. I opened a web page and it's just sitting here and it's not loading and nothing's happening, and that's great. Let's find some place where this actually works. This is all outtake. Well, that last segment sucked. Woohoo! Let's try that again. Outtakes. Okay, let's say I'm live streaming. That's all outtake material. Cut. Throw it at the end. Do this in every one of these. Ripple delete. Sessions. Now let's say I'm live streaming. Now at 5 minutes. And you can get fancy-dancy with... Bye-bye. Now at 5 minutes. Now let's say I'm live streaming here or something, or maybe I'm doing a tutorial or something like that, and I need to turn on the fact that I'm going to take a 5-minute break. Well, I could do that, or 10 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever, and there can be a little countdown for these people. You can also use this simple thing at the very beginning of your live stream or something, where you may count down for a minute or 10 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever and do that. Now, when I switch over to my second screen, let's say I'm doing some sort of tutorial or something like that, you'll see that countdown timer down here. I'd probably go in and make it darker now that I see that. I can turn it on and off simply by clicking this little dot, turn the timer on, turn the timer off. That's pretty cool. Let me just go in. I won't show this to you right at the moment, but let me go in and fix mine because I want to make it darker. Now, how do I make it darker? I go find that little template that I created, and I double click on that black background. I'm doing that over here. And that's screwed up. So how do I change that on mine? I don't even know if this is going to be part of the video. Where did I start? We're now at 5 minutes. Now let's say I'm talking about this. I can turn it on and off simply by clicking this little dot, turn the timer on, turn the timer off. That's pretty cool. Let me just go in. Nope. Bye-bye. That's pretty cool. So how do I change that on mine? I'm currently running OBS. This is what you're seeing on and I know that black background. Remember this? That's pretty cool. Let me just go in. I won't show this to you right at the moment, but let me go in and fix mine because I want to make it darker. Now, how do I make it darker? So how do I change that on mine? I want to make it darker. So how do I change that on mine? I'm currently running OBS. This is what you're seeing on the screen. And I know that black background, remember this guy? So I can see that's too light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this filter that I set up for the opacity. And I'm going to, I don't need to do any of this. Filters. We're going to add. So here we are in OBS. This is what we're using. This is my particular timer, and we want to make it darker. So how do I turn the timer off? That's pretty cool. Let me just go in. I won't show. I don't need that. I don't need that. Bye-bye. So here we are in OBS. This is what we're using. And let's get that out of the way. I'm all ready to go back to the main screen. Boop. The timer off. That's pretty cool. There's the main screen. It's sitting there with the pink on. So apparently I screwed up. You just need to go back into. Well, that's screwed up. Then we can reset the timer or set it to whatever. Let's turn off our, that's probably outtake. Cut and paste, go back. Hey, timer off. That's pretty cool. Then we can reset the timer or set. And you'll see that the countdown timer that's sitting, and you'll see, really? Pretty cool. And you'll see that the countdown timer that's sitting there is a little bit darker. But when we go to the other screen, let's switch. Wow. What are you doing, dude? You lost yourself. You'll notice the countdown timer looks a lot better. And again, if I don't like this, I can simply. It's pretty cool. You'll notice the countdown timer looks a lot better. And again, if I don't like this, I can simply click on the countdown timer text I can simply, that's going to be abrupt. Pretty cool. I can simply click on the countdown timer text, blah, 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 and just move it, blah, blah, blah. Let's say I don't like it and I know I'm going to be in. Maybe. That's pretty cool. Let's say I don't like it and I know I'm going to be in here for a while. I can take it and move this without affecting all the original stuff. Maybe. Because over here, I don't have anything over here. I just didn't change that. They're all separated. So I can edit all the elements of the timer and everything else, make it as big or small as I want, move it around in each individual different scene. And there's how you do a countdown timer in OBS, blah, blah. Individual different scene. And there's how you do a count. You know what? Bye-bye. Pretty cool. And bye-bye. Pretty cool. And there's how you do a countdown timer in OBS, construct it, and use it wherever you want, be able to change it in one place. I suggest you do that with all your elements on the screen. Anyway, I hope that helps. Make sure you check out... Anyway, make sure you check out something with all your elements on the screen. Let's see if I can possibly do this. Ooh, hands up. Maybe. Too abrupt. All your elements on the screen. Anyway, I have three elements on the screen. Anyway, I have... Wow. Do. Little trick. Don't know if it'll work. Let's see if we can get some sort of match here. This up here. And this down here. Take this and let's move this down. Opacity. Hey. Well, that was bizarre. There we go. Let's put it right like that. There's no way. Screen. Anyway, that was the luckiest thing that ever happened in the world. Change it in one place. I suggest you do that with all your elements on the screen. Anyway, I hope that helps. Make sure you check out. Anyway, nope, you are not lucky. That's what we want to do. Beedly beedly beep. 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 There we go. Alt, left and right arrow will move things. Do 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 do. Choo choo. Do 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 do. Nope. It's not going to work. Hey, what are you doing? That's not going to work. So in cases like that, yep, let's not do that. We're just going to cut. Boop. Nice try. Now I could do all sorts of crap in here and play with it. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, look at that. Cut that off, didn't I? Let's make sure I didn't kill it. Elements on the screen. Anyway, I have on the screen. Anyway, I have free courses over at the university, and watch out because soon my OBS course is coming to the university, and it's going to be very affordable and jam-packed with stuff that you may not have ever seen. I hope that helps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Boop. Mom, don't point at people. What's this? Okay. Let's be done with that. Stop recording. Okay, so that's basically the episode. Cut. So we don't destroy all our crap. We'll put it here. Control-Shift-V. Inserts everything, moves everything down, then I can play. And since I'm not going to use music, this is a tutorial, I'm just going to move it down like this. And we'll see what happens. Turn that magnetic on. Yes, like that. Uh-oh. Hello, you little dogs, you. Bye-bye. Let me show you a quick way to create a countdown timer that looks pretty snazzy in OBS like that. This is just a quick little video I'm going to throw together to show you how to create a quick little timer within OBS. You don't need plugins, you don't need to buy extra stuff or anything else. You just are able to turn it on, you're able to set the time, and you're done. Wow, it's 12 minutes long. Okay. Throw our end crap up here. Actually, we want that. That. Don't really have any titles. We want these. Let's move all these guys way down there. Buy extra stuff or anything else. You just are able to turn it on, you're able to set the time, and you're done. Let's go over to OBS and create this thing. Now, here I am in OBS. I don't... Let's make that look a little better. Yeah, why don't we throw it right there? Thing. Now, here I am in OBS. I don't have anything set up, and if you're wondering why my OBS looks awesome, well, okay. Simple video to edit. This is a good one. We're going to throw these elements down here. And we'll see you next time. Beep. Let's go grab outtakes and edit those. Boop, boop. Okay. I said this might happen. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to... I am going to use my nifty timer that I have. That's a script that I've just been showing the people on this. And I'm going to go powder my nose for 1 minute by doing that exact thing I'm showing people how to do. We'll see you in a minute. Or more than a minute. That's the timer that I'm creating in this episode for my Saturday morning posting. I thought it'd be interesting to people. Maybe if not, everybody will hate it. Let's finish this thing up. This is really simple because I edited it and I recorded it all within OBS. So the cutting and the chopping and the this, there's not much to this video. Next time, like next week, it's probably going to be quite a few hours because it's going to be more complicated. I have a lot of B-roll, a lot of stuff going on. Let's finish this edit up, and then we'll render it, and we'll cut out. Cool. Here we go. I hope you're editing too, or next week you show up with your stuff, and you sit down and you edit with me at 9 a.m. every Thursday and get your stuff done, which means you have to have everything shut. Let me finish this, and I'll talk a little bit more because I got stuff to do. Huh. Okay, we're at the end. Now we're going to play cutting up the outtakes. Doodle-doo-doodle-doo. And then we'll see you next time. And you can get all... Chuck. Okay. I'm going to grab this. We're going to insert our beeps. Control-Shift-V. Boop. Let me show you this one. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to open, possibly I'm doing some sort of a tutorial. Let's open up. That's not going to work. Let's go to... That's awesome. I opened a web page and it's just sitting here and it's not loading and nothing's happening, and that's great. Let's find some place where this actually works. Dee 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 dee. Let's cut that out. Dee 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 dee. Beep. Wow, that's fabulous. There it is. Okay, so back to it again. Well, that last segment sucked. 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 Woohoo! Let's try that again. Okay, let's set it. Say golly. Okay, let's set it. Say beep. There's the main screen. It's sitting there with the pink on. So apparently I screwed up. You just need to go back into. It's sitting there. Main screen. It's sitting there with the pink on. So apparently I screwed up. Okay. And I'm done with that. Those will be the outtakes. I probably drop the end stuff in. And I'm going to watch the outtakes one more time to see what I got. And you can get all... Chuck. Dee 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 dee. Well, that last segment sucked. Okay, let's set it. Say there's the main screen. It's sitting there with the pink on. So apparently I screwed up. Okay, we have the ending. Simple video again. I edited it all and recorded it, everything through the OBS system and everything. So it's really simple. Everything's there. Set my out point. Set my in point. Do, 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 do. 1, 2, 3. Cool. Whoa. Go to the end. That ends out with a black yada, 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 yada. And make sure my out point's set. I want to make sure my color correction is all set there. And I don't do too much in the way of color correction because with OBS, let's get rid of all this stuff. Delete all the extra tracks, empty. Hey, I'll delete the empty video, empty audio. Boom, compress me down. I don't do too much with this. Where am I? Hey, where am I? Where am I? It's okay. Wow. My eyeballs aren't white. Probably something messed up. Let's go in and see what we're doing here. We're going to quickly, this is like poor man's color correction. Let's reset that. I usually go in here just for the heck of it, and I crush down the blacks a little bit, maybe -10. That ought to work. Beep, beep. Just makes it nicer. I'll probably maybe add a bit sharpening. Swink, swink. It's subtle. That's it. I might, it's hard to tell on this screen. No, it's fine. On this screen, it's recording, it's live streaming. It looks a little soft or dark. That's not what's happening. It's actually quite sharp. Save that. Let's close this Lumetri panel. And I would edit that. Yeah, I would totally edit that. And that's basically another fine editing session. As I said earlier, I'm doing this for me. It forces me every Thursday morning at 9 a.m. to have my footage ready to edit, no matter how simple like this one, or no matter how complicated it is. It works. It works for me. I suggest if you have a problem getting things done that you need to do, like I want to post on Saturday morning, I'm going to watch this a few times. I'm pretty much done with this. Upload it, do all the things I say to do in that other video I created on my other channel about, I have 30 steps or whatever it is, what you do after you upload your video to make sure it can be found and YouTube can see it. Let me just look at a few of these comments while I'm here because I want to diss anybody. Bad karma. Well, that's just why I haven't seen a video in a few months. You're talking about bad camera, worth it or not. Blah, blah. They're talking. Hey, hello, Michael. Good evening, sir. Thanks for joining in. Probably boring. We can't hear. Your mic is off. Life is terrible. Yeah, I ain't buying that. My system's set up. Keep going, Kevin. You didn't get to the good comments. Jake. Hey, cool. Been too busy shooting with the A7S3. If you're still here, Jake. I'm still waiting for mine. Hey, Bad Karma. Bad Karma. Bad Karma is saying stuff over and over again. I see. Ground headache day. Sure. He said boop and main camera 3 times on my end. I think my internet is messed up. Okay. He's editing live. Correct. Boop. Interactive. Hello, sir. Hello, Nay. Editing is always fun. Maybe. Yeah, it can be fun. I love editing. Again, before I end, the whole purpose of this is I know Thursday morning at 9 a.m. I'm going to force myself to do a live stream. That means prior to that, I have to, whether it's 30 minutes or days, I have to have all my B-roll, my footage, everything shot, everything ready, everything loaded in my editor to do this. And I come here and I know I'm going to live stream it. It's a self-discipline thing. And I just sit here and edit. And if you have a problem or a similar thing with disciplining yourself to get something done or to keep on a YouTube schedule and upload your videos, come watch this video. I don't care about the views. You could even mute it if you want, but it makes you go, aha, it's 9 a.m. on Thursday. Or you decide to watch it at 5 p.m. on a next Wednesday or whatever. But it sets this thing where you go in and you edit your videos and you consistently do it and you back it all up. You had to have scripted or shot it or B-rolled it or done whatever you have to do. That's my discipline. If you enjoy that, fine. If you don't have to watch. It's for me. It's a test of discipline on editing. Anyway, whoever joined, thank you. If you feel ignored, I'm sorry. It's editing time. The whole point of this video. Anyway, I really appreciate it. Thank you, Nay, for more stuff. And I'm going to chop out now. Go render my video and start getting it ready and uploading it and doing all that other stuff next week. I'll probably make sure everything's cool here. Hey, Gene. Thank you. Have a good day, sir. And I'm out of here with my exit strategy called Badass Nay at Interactive DNA. We'll see you next week. Actually, we'll see you Saturday for the live stream. If I don't catch you there, we'll see you next week for another exciting episode of video editing. I'll see you guys later.